Okay, let's dive right into this. I still vividly remember sitting at my laptop, staring at the tuition cost for my absolute dream university overseas, and just feeling completely crushed. I mean, I looked at those numbers and thought, there was just no way on earth my family or I could ever afford this. But then I stumbled onto a totally different path. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, I am pulling back the curtain and opening up my exact battle-tested playbook. This is the very same strategy that took me from having zero funding to winning fully funded international scholarships. So if you've ever thought studying abroad was just a pipe dream reserved for the ultra-wealthy, grab a notebook, because everything about how you view paying for your education is about to change. Right off the bat, we need to completely bust a massive myth. Ask yourself this. What if the only thing standing between you and your dream university isn't your grades, but simply not knowing where to look? Seriously, so many of us have it in our heads that we need absolute perfection, like a flawless 4.0 GPA or some genius-level intellect to even stand a chance at studying abroad. But honestly, that's just not true. The biggest barrier isn't how smart you are, it's strategy, it's awareness. It's simply knowing this game even exists so you can actually step out onto the playing field. And just to put into perspective how incredibly massive this game actually is, over $46 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That is the staggering amount of scholarship money awarded every single year in the United States alone. 46 billion with a B. Hearing a number like that should instantly shatter any scarcity mindset you might have. There isn't just some tiny microscopic pot of money out there being fiercely guarded by a dragon. There are literal billions of dollars waiting to be claimed by students exactly like you right now. And because that pot of money is so incredibly huge, your odds are dramatically better than you probably think. 1 in 8, that's the ratio of students who win at least one scholarship. When I first started applying, I was terrified. I pictured myself competing against millions of invincible super students, and honestly, I almost talked myself out of even trying. But the reality? The competition pool is actually much, much smaller than people assume. It is highly realistic for you to be that 1 in 8, as long as you know what you're doing and follow the right steps. But here is the statistic that honestly just breaks my heart. 70%. A shocking 70% of applicants never even apply. They just give up before submitting a single piece of paper. They either assume they aren't good enough to win, or they just don't know these awards even exist. Please, I am passionately urging you here, do not be part of that statistic. You automatically fail 100% of the applications you don't submit. It's that simple. So much of that money we just talked about goes completely unclaimed simply because people take themselves out of the race before the starting gun even goes off. So if we're going to do this, let's aim for the absolute top, right? We are going after the holy grail of studying abroad, fully funded international programs. Now, we aren't just talking about a couple $100 off your textbooks here. We are talking about prestigious, world-class programs that cover absolutely the whole shebang. Your tuition, your housing, your living costs, and yes, even your round-trip flights. This is the exact level of funding I targeted. And let me tell you from firsthand experience, stepping onto a plan to study in a new country without a massive cloud of debt hanging over your head, it changes your life completely. So what do these programs actually look like? Well, your target board should be filled with world-renowned names. If you're looking at the UK, you've got the Chevening. For the US, there's the legendary Fulbright. You can leverage Erasmus Plus to study all across Europe, shoot for the DAAD in Germany, or aim for the Australia Awards down under. Now, I know these names might sound incredibly intimidating right now, but hear me out. They are highly attainable goals, they are the premier routes for international students, and the secret is they are actively looking for people who just follow the playbook we are about to cover. But before we get into the exact steps, you kind of need to know where to start looking based on where you're at in school. If you are an undergrad, your absolute first stop is always the financial aid section of the specific university you want to attend. A lot of the time, just submitting your main admission application automatically puts you in the running for multiple internal merit awards. It's super efficient. Now, if you are a postgraduate or PhD student, your targets shift a bit. You want to look outwardly at research councils, government bodies, or elite programs like the Gates Cambridge or Rhodes scholarships. The money is definitely there for every single degree level. It just lives in different houses. All right, so we've set the stage, we know the money is out there, and we know we absolutely have to apply. So, how do we actually go out and get it? It's time to execute. This is my winner's 6-step playbook. And listen, this isn't some theoretical textbook advice. This is the exact personal battle plan I use to secure my own full ride. It takes what is honestly a very overwhelming, chaotic process and transforms it into a highly structured, simple checklist that you can actually follow without losing your mind. The absolutely crucial part here is to follow this framework methodically. Step 1, know your type. Figure out if you're going for merit, financial need, a specific subject, or diversity-based awards. Step 2, build a targeted hit list of about 15 to 20 solid options. Step 3 is all about crafting a deeply moving personal essay. Step 4, lock in those strong recommendation letters. Step 5 is pure discipline, applying consistently and tracking every single deadline like a hawk. And finally, Step 6, following up and prepping hard for those interview rounds. Now, before you just sprint straight at those giant, highly competitive international awards, I want to share a massive insider pro tip with you. Apply for smaller, local scholarships first. Why? Because they have way fewer applicants and the requirements are usually a breeze. Actually, winning a smaller award first is a total game changer. It builds incredible momentum and gives you this huge boost of confidence. Plus, it really helps you practice and refine your personal story. Think of it like an essential warm-up round before you step into the ring with the international heavyweights. Let's zoom in on step 3 for a second, because this is honestly your biggest lever by far, the essay. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Emotion and specificity win, not perfection. Look, scholarship committees read literally thousands of these essays. If you just rewrite your CV into paragraph form and list out your grades, you are going to put them completely to sleep. You have to tell a compelling personal story. What specific, difficult challenge did you overcome? What deeply, truly drives your ambition? Make them feel something. They aren't writing a check to a robot. They are funding a real human being with a clear, driven sense of purpose. Moving right along to step 4, your letters of recommendation. You need to give your recommenders 4 to 6 weeks notice, period. This is absolutely non-negotiable. You can't just run up to a teacher or a boss 3 days before a major deadline, ask for a letter, and expect a winning result. Give them plenty of time. And even more importantly, sit down and actually share your specific scholarship goals with them so they can tailor what they write. You want them highlighting your character, your leadership, and your grit, not just writing, "Hey, they got an A in my class." Okay, I need to take a quick, very serious pause right here because this kind of stuff makes my blood boil. Never, ever pay to apply for a scholarship. Period. As you start digging around online for these funds, you're inevitably going to hit websites asking for a small processing fee or asking you to pay to unlock exclusive opportunities. These are straight-up scams. Legitimate, prestigious scholarships are always entirely free to apply for. Always. Guard your time, guard your hard-earned money, and keep your radar up. All right, so we've covered the core steps, and we know how to dodge the scams. But what actually gives you the winning edge? Picture a scholarship committee staring down a massive mountain of 500 perfectly qualified applications. What specific traits make them pull yours out of the middle and say, "Yep, this is the one getting the full ride"? Well, let's break down the ultimate checklist that separates the actual winners from the pile of rejection letters. Here is exactly how they separate the best from the rest. They are looking for a personal essay that has an actual heartbeat, not just generic "I want to change the world" ambitions. They want to see real, demonstrated community impact or extracurricular leadership. They expect applications that are deeply tailored to their specific program, absolutely no copy-pasting allowed. And finally, it comes down to basic discipline, flawless proofreading with 0 typos, and having the maturity to submit your packet well ahead of the deadline. These sound like small things, but these simple acts of discipline are what actually seal the deal. So, that brings us to the ultimate question. Knowing everything we just talked about, knowing that there are literal billions of dollars sitting out there and that a staggering amount of it is left completely unclaimed year after year, what are you gonna do? Will you choose to be part of that 70% who never even try? Or will you take this playbook, put in the focused work, and study anywhere in the world for free? The entire roadmap is laid out right in front of you, step by step. The next move is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really truly cannot wait to see where your application journey takes you.